I'll call the meeting to order. First item on our agenda is public hearing, 3.1, land use bylaw number 1422, community gardens. The purpose of bylaw 1422 is to amend land use bylaw 1411 by adding community gardens as discretionary use in the P1 public service district, adding a requirement for rain barrels for dwellings on new residential lots created after January 1st, 2015, and will address a number of technical issues with land use bylaw 1411. Could we please have confirmation of the notices from the development officer?
Thank you, Your Worship. Public notice concerning this bylaw was published in the Strathmore Times on January 9th of this year, and again on the 16th. A similar notice was sent by emails to builders and developers working in the town.
Can we have the development officer's report, please?
I think council, at the previous meeting, we discussed the purpose of the bylaw. You saw the kind of first reading, we went through it. At this time, we have received 2 public responses that are summarized in the report. Wildflower has indicated that rain barrels places a liability on the builder if the barrels are not properly maintained by the homeowners, recognizing that there's now a 10-year warranty and that improperly managed rain barrels may impact foundations. And went further on to say that the town may share some liability if it requires rain barrels to be installed in new developments. The Wildflower questioned how it would be enforced and questioned why it was limited to new buildings. And they indicated some support for rain barrels as a part of overall stormwater management and potable water conservations, but suggested it be a voluntary incentive-based program. And they asked that the bylaw be amended to remove the mandated rain barrels as stated. Ovation Homes indicated that rain barrels require flat ground, and this will no longer provide positive drainage away from the building, and if the barrels not maintained, there is the risk of stormwater impacting foundations. Staff recommendation, staff have laid out 2 options. Adopt the bylaw as is, or amend the bylaw prior to second reading by striking out the provisions respecting rain barrels, namely section 101.4 in bylaw 1422. That is found on page, I believe it's page 37 of your agenda package. So let me just double check that. Yeah, page 37 now. Section 101. We have no strong opinion on this either way. We adopted a new land use bylaw recently, and the provisions respecting stormwater management are, there's a bylaw extract on page 43 of your agenda package, which lays out the bylaw as written. I would draw your attention to section 6, which states that the development authority may require A, the modification of grade, B, the construction of on-site stormwater detention areas, retaining walls, window wells, swales, trench drains, and eave troughs, or other objects or apparatus, and the installation and proper orientation of downspouts to properly manage surface water drainage or stormwater resulting from the development of the land. So, and we've also responded briefly to the letters that we received. So just that satisfactory.
Okay, thank you. Is there anybody that wishes to be heard in favor of this application? Are there any persons wishing to be heard in opposition? Would you please come forward and identify yourself?
Good evening, Your Worship and council members. My name is Curtis Palmer. I'm president of Ovation Homes. I just like to, I guess I can start just by reading my actual letter that's in the package. As builders, one of the most important practices we do is proper lot grading to ensure that all water is directed away from the foundation and into designed drainage swales according to the grade plan for that lot. I feel that rain barrels pose significant challenges to surface water management. Rain barrels, which are located next to the foundation, require flat ground to sit on. The ground beneath the barrel will no longer have the positive drainage away from the foundation as designed. To make matters worse, the first 3 or 4 feet surrounding the home were part of the excavation for that home. This backfilled material isn't as compacted as the dense, undisturbed soil elsewhere in the lot. So the weight of a full or partially full barrel will cause excessive settlement. We will now have negative drainage. If this barrel is not maintained and drained regularly in a fashion that directs the water away from the home, then it will overflow and direct water to the foundation with every rainfall. And it won't take long to fill. The roof of a 2,000 square foot home will collect 1,200 liters of water during a single 6 millimeter rainfall, which will all be carried through those downspouts. Winter also poses additional challenges as melted snow from the roof would fill and freeze and eventually overflow the barrel. Homeowners could remove the barrel in the winter. However, we would now have a downspout without an extension directing water right at the foundation. As a builder, we are required to grade each home with positive drainage away from the foundation. It is the homeowner's responsibility to maintain those grades after possession, including correcting any settlement. Water in basements and foundation issues caused by water will not be warranted by the builder or the third-party warranty provider if it is determined that those grades have not been maintained. So just to that last point there, it's not so much I'm trying to protect myself and other builders, because I'm just wanted to point out that, you know, once we've left that house with the grades done as per, any settlement and any damage because of unmanaged settlements will negate their warranty. So I can argue that although there's merit in rain barrels, probably the worst homes to put them on would be a new home, because that settlement around the foundation isn't going to be completely compacted for the first full year after the home has been taken over by the homeowner. And it's not something a builder will go back and top up, because settlement under the warranty rules, it falls under the responsibility of the homeowner. I guess I would have other questions too. Like, every house has an average 4 to 6 downspouts. So I guess, how would it be determined, you know, which downspout? Because every one of them, depending on the roof, will carry different amounts of water. So, and I know it's open in there for the development authority to ask for more downspouts, but I guess, well, how would that be determined? And who's going to make those determinations? As a builder, if it's mandated, we have a hard enough time getting our homeowners to consistently put their downspouts extensions down, which is just a simple toss down. Those things are designed to carry that water away. So we know the challenge of homeowners maintaining, you know, certain items on their home. So I wouldn't want to leave it in their hands. Like, if it's mandated, I would actually put, just like we do with a sidewalk, brackets would be installed, a concrete pad would be poured for the rain barrel to sit on, just so we don't have the settlement issues. It's costly because that adds about $1,500 per house per barrel. So, you know, it'd be unfortunate. Like, it's one thing, especially if a homeowner did not want it, you know, it'd be extra costs that they would have to incur. And I'm going to suggest too that, because every rain barrel has a drain spout on the bottom, you can leave it open. You can attach a garden hose to it. If people didn't, like, you know, if they weren't an avid gardener, if they weren't using these things repeatedly and didn't want to have to deal with their overflowing barrel, I would suggest that they'll probably just attach a hose to it, leave it open. So it's going to do the same thing, you know, and wherever the hose might be, whether it take it all the way to the street or just to the property line, it'll take it away from the house, which, you know, is good for us, but it's probably not exactly as the barrel may have been intended to be used. Yeah, so I guess that's pretty much it. I just I guess one other point I can make, if the reason is for overland drainage, I'll suggest that, you know, a proper grade slip, like, you know, a properly graded house as per the plan takes care of overland drainage. And but if the town's really concerned that the overland drainage and houses aren't being graded properly, because I mean, I see it myself out there that I can tell you all aren't as per the grade slip, I'll suggest that a lot grading bylaw will take care of all these issues, because then that forces all of us builders, which I'm all for, being made to make sure that our grades are as per the designed grades. Anyways, thank you very much for your time.
Just in case there's some questions. Does Councillor Fuel?
Yes, thank you, Your Worship. I have two questions for you.
Sure.
First is Ovation Homes builds homes in various communities. Can you just let me know whereabouts you build?
Yeah, well, right now, actually, we're actually only in Strathmore, but I've built in Langdon, Airdrie, Cochrane, so I've built in a number of communities.
My second question is,
Sure.
have any of those other communities had this kind of a change to their adding rain barrels to new home construction?
No, none. This is the first I've actually encountered with it. The other communities don't have implemented, except for Langdon, which falls within the MD Rocky View, who don't have one. But yeah, like Airdrie and Calgary and other communities have in the recent years adopted lot grading bylaws. And just to, I guess, give you just a very brief, the lot grading bylaw, the difference to how we would operate now is that once our grading is actually done, surveyors have to come back in and shoot those grades to make sure that we have in fact graded that lot as per the plot plan. It's really, I mean, there's extra cost to a builder, but it's easier for me as a builder because that way, we know we've always done a very good job of grading our lots, but I'm always dealing with what that lot next door. If there's a bylaw to make sure they're also graded properly, then it makes my life a lot easier.
Further questions? Oh, sorry. Councillor Peterson?
Thank you. Do you know how much it costs to grade a lot? According to, or does it vary depending, I suppose, on?
Yeah, but we
what-
well, it's part of our like every builder will pay an excavator different amounts, but this is nothing over and above. Like we pay our excavator to grade every one of our lots. So there's, like say, as far as a lot grading bylaw, there's no extra costs. On average, you know, that component of our excavating costs is in around $1,000, but this wouldn't have to be added to the cost of our home because we already do it.
You absorb it.
Yeah, it just doesn't necessarily get done right if there's no bylaw to survey them after, right?
So I noticed when I was researching the whole issue of stormwater management, I noticed that some communities in Southern Alberta have a retrofit low impact development process in place where one of those things is grading, but many of them are looking at other things as well.
Yep.
Only one of which is, you know, rain barrels, rain gardens. I see that you must be on your radar.
Honestly, no. We like as far as like, I guess is the main reason for this surface water management
Yes.
or
Yes.
water conservation.
Well, I think both. From my perspective, I'll speak for myself. My concern in this community is water management, and the express issue of potable water versus using rainwater, and then at an equal level of concern is stormwater management.
Sure.
And this community is facing some challenges with
Yeah.
regards to that, and you know, one of the statistics that you note in your letter to us is one that I found, a roof of a 2,000 square foot home, that one, that is one that I found in all the research as well, and as a reason given for rainwater management. And the research suggests that rain barrels are the primary way to manage stormwater, and rain gardens are the second one.
Yeah, I guess rain barrels, like, I guess could, if properly maintained.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely.
But I would, granted, I'm not an expert on rain barrels. I haven't dealt with them, but I would suggest if you went through an existing neighborhood and kind of took account of how many people are actually using rain barrels, that'll give you an idea how many people want and thus would use rain barrel properly. I don't personally see many of them. So I know an avid gardener that would use one, like for example, but most people, in my experience with homeowners too, like they're all, because everybody's time is valuable. So low maintenance is a big thing in everything we do. In all our designs, and I would just suggest that the majority of our homeowners wouldn't want a rain barrel. But having said that, I've never asked them either.
I really appreciate the letter that you brought to council. It's really, really well done, and even more, I appreciate the building that Ovations Homes is doing in Strathmore. I really appreciate it a lot.
Well, we've actually Strathmore has been great, so we've hoping to be here for the long haul.
That's true.
Further questions? Councilor Sullivan?
I really appreciate the fact that you're at least considering if this is mandated to build some kind of a platform for the rain barrel. I think that would be common sense and would alleviate the issue regarding compactation of the soil around the edge where it's going to go. That $1,500 just kind of surprised me. It just sounds a little high to me.
It is, and I've based it on worst case scenario. Concrete companies charge, like for doing a pad, there's a minimum charge. So as far as a square foot of concrete, that's very high. So if I could get that poured with the other concrete, like if that part of the house, if that was done at the same time, then I could just get away with that square foot charge. But when I price that out, it's worst case scenario. I'm not getting it done with the driveway and the sidewalk, so they're going to hit me with the minimum charge. So you're right on that. And of course, I would. There's a number of things in our business that we try to get done at the same time. It just doesn't always. The front yard, the driveway, doesn't always get graded at the same time as the back and sides. Different times of the year, we just can't get equipment back into the backyard and the side yard just because it sinks in the mud. And even with that pad, there's still challenges to it because still, what do you do in winter? Because it's still going to freeze. It's like and to ask or to supply a homeowner, like say with like a downspout extension to attach, like if you've ever screwed one of those things on and off, once you got that hole in, they're done. Like they won't last very long, and especially in storage. So, and in the winter, people don't realize there's quite a bit of, from the freeze thaws, there's quite a bit of water runoff during the winter as well.
I would just make a comment. We're really, or at least I'll speak for myself, really not trying to make your life any more tougher than it is.
Yeah, no, and it's
the benefits.
Yep.
You look at the benefits of this, and I know education is a big issue with this, but I mean, this is I mean financially for the homeowner, and if it was emphasized to the homeowner, the money that they would save using a rain barrel, because our water, as you probably well know in this town, you pay for water twice. You pay for it coming in, and you pay for it going out. Rain barrel saves you on two areas of your finance, your finances. So it's just financially, that would pay for itself for any homeowner with the money they would save.
Yeah, I guess
whatever if they have to put another downspout or do something like this, but
yeah.
But the other benefits, the water savings and et cetera, and that water is, I mean, and that's an education thing, and I understand that we have to show people the value of rain barrels, and one of the ways we do that is mandate.
Yep.
But I appreciate your position on that. Thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you. No further questions? Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
And does the development officer, anybody have any further questions of the development officer? Yes, I do. Okay. If the development officer would come forward. Councilor, or Deputy Mayor Walsh?
Your worship, through the chair. Just a quick question regarding liability to the town. Would there be any liability to the town if we implemented, mandated this to go forward with respect to perhaps water getting in the basement or something to that effect?
No, and I'll tell you why. I think a rain barrel has about the same risk of compromising a foundation as an improperly maintained downspout does. I walk around this town and there are a lot of downspouts that are a problem. Having several hundred pounds of water next to your foundation, if it fails, it is a risk. The development permit process and the building permit process tries to ensure that positive drainage is provided away from the building without impacting adjacent properties. In areas of town where we do not have a storm sewer, we are compelled to use the streets and the lanes because they are an essential part of the overall drainage system for the town. I cannot foresee a circumstance where if we require a rain barrel, that we don't make some comments or suggestions or some requirements in the development permit regarding their maintenance. And from my experience looking at the City of Calgary's website, for example, I think it's about as good as it gets. And it's in its local context. It's not Vancouver, it's not Southern Ontario, it's here. So could somebody make the argument that you made me put a rain barrel there and now my foundations failed? I'm not sure how. I suspect if we were sloppy, if we didn't think this through, if we didn't do it properly, there would be that situation. As I've said before, I believe certainly in some areas of the town, especially in those areas where we don't have storm sewers, rain barrels are going to be required. And we're going to have to figure out how to make them work and how. The issue is perhaps a little grayer in new subdivisions where there are storm sewers. And the settling is an issue, but different contractors will treat that differently. And I would just add that in an infill situation where we're dealing with redevelopment, we're often challenged getting a 2% slope. A 2% slope is the minimum slope that you need. That's 1.2 inches in 5 feet. And that's barely discernible. I mean, most people wouldn't see it. They'd say, no, it's flat. No, it's got a 2% slope. In new subdivisions, the engineers designing the subdivisions will often give those side yards, the grade between the side property line and the face of the building over that 5 feet, a substantial slope. Usually not more than 16 inches difference, but sometimes a slope in the order of 12 to 16%. And it's kind of, it's kind of insurance that even if somebody goofs by a factor of 50% or there's a significant amount of settling, that there's going to be drainage away from the building. So unfortunately, that sets up often, as was pointed out, a different circumstance. Now, one of the conditions that we place on development permits is not only must you, grade your property in accordance with the approved plans, but if retaining walls or window wells are required, they're the responsibility of the developer, because if they are required, you clearly didn't follow the required grading. And sometimes it's not the issue that at the end of the day, if you have a builder building the same house side by side, it's rarely an issue. But if you have one builder doing one, say a bi-level and the next guy's doing a bungalow and there's no earth balance, I mean, you're going to get more dirt coming out of the hole of a bungalow than you are a bi-level. So all of a sudden now the bungalow sits higher than the bi-level. And that's what we pay attention to when we do the development permits. We don't have a lot grading bylaw per se. Some municipalities have gone that route. I think it's completely unnecessary if you're looking at it at the development permit process, at the time of development permit. Pardon me.
Thank you. Further questions? Just a question or two, if I might. In regards to the suggestion that there should be a cement pad under the rain barrels, that's not in the bylaw as it stands right now, is it?
No, and I'm not sure. It would be a question that we would ask, but I'm not sure that a cement pad would be required. It would depend on how much, like what's your level of compaction. If you, the builder, are concerned that there's going to be significant compaction, you do one of two things. You compact it better, you leave more, you create more of a slope and let the barrel wear it down. I mean, I've seen rain barrels sitting on those 24 by 30 inch sidewalk blocks. If it sinks a little, throw another one in. Sometimes they're wedged up by a 2x4, or a 4x4, or I mean, there's a concrete pad is nice. It's clean. It's like putting an air conditioner on a concrete pad, but they don't have to be. It's not something, it would, in part, it would depend on the slope of the lot. If you have a walkout and you have a significant slope from front to back, that might be a different situation than if you have a split drainage lot that drains both the front and back from some point in the middle. So I think that's one of those, when the bylaw said one or more rain barrels, it acknowledged that on a modern house you may have multiple downspouts, but you may not need a rain barrel on each one of them. But if the bylaw requires at least one, we'll put one where we think it will do the most good and manage it however we think is appropriate.
And so that's my next question then. How many rain barrels are needed for each new house?
As written, I think the bylaw requires one. I think it would be extraordinary to ask for more than three. We'd have to be on solid ground to do it. And I mean, any decision we make there would be appealable. And if we're blatantly seen to be unreasonable about it, there will be complaints. But if we have a walkout situation and there's no swale at the back, and there's a significant risk of that water going onto somebody else's property, maybe two rain barrels at the back and a retaining wall are the way to deal with it. The one thing that ties into this as well is that it's become very fashionable in the last little while to put in very large and very wide driveways. I know at least some contractors who sincerely believe that this benefits their property by the snow or the rain gets on the concrete and it runs away. Unfortunately, in a lot of cases, it exacerbates the problem because water table comes up post-development, and the more you cover, like the more you put an impervious layer on the soil, the greater the water table comes up. So if you put those driveways in and you've got a situation where you've got back to front drainage or split drainage, the driveway can actually function as a dam, and either so that water won't run over the driveway or divert it into the neighbor. In a situation where you have that, and you've put in a condition that pertaining to rain barrels, that might be a perfect place where you can use the rain barrel to direct the water onto the driveway. And I've seen that done. So it's almost a case by case basis. And I mean, if we assume they're all going to be bungalows on 50-foot lots, and then it would be easy, but they're not.
Fuel.
If you're done, Your Worship, I don't know. Did you have another question?
I'm just formulating, but go ahead.
Okay. My question through the chair to Werner is, in your experiences in the development departments of various communities, have you seen this in place anywhere else? And I'm thinking in terms of Medicine Hat, where it's awfully sunny and dry. And
Medicine Hat, to the best of my knowledge, has an incentive program. The city of Calgary is pushing it much harder out of a matter of practical necessity. In places like Hillhurst, West Hillhurst, Hillhurst, Sunnyside, Capitol Hill, where you're knocking down bungalows on 50-foot lots and you are absolutely maxing out your site coverage, and your impervious surface, you often have, depending especially what's happening on the lot next door, you have a stormwater drainage challenge. And conventional wisdom at the city of Calgary is that dry wells don't work, because once they're super saturated, it's like the dam don't prevent flooding if the reservoir is full. Rain barrels do provide an above ground storage container. The city of Surrey is an example where every house, let me just backtrack a little bit. As development along the coast moved inland, it moved uphill. Vancouver's lower than Surrey, Surrey's lower than Points East. And now all the development in Surrey has to flow through downhill through the storm sewers of the city of Vancouver, which were never built to the size it was. And Surrey was a rural municipality, and as all those little subdivisions came together, they would absolutely overwhelm and surcharge the entire system. Every developer, every residence built in Surrey has a substantial underground storage tank that then in turn is connected to the storm sewer, and that's done solely to reduce the peak volume. We do the same thing on streets with we allow ponding around catch basins as a way of, so we don't have to size everything for the maximum event. I think they're if we have a stormwater issue, our discussions would be, you've got some options here, how would you want to deal with it? And I think as we gain experience, we'll get to better answers.
Deputy Mayor Waltz?
Your Worship, I'm not sure if Dr. Stanford can answer this question or our director can. Do we have a storm water management problem in the town of Strathmore?
We do in certain areas. For example, in the downtown, quite a few areas don't have storm sewer. So yes, when people build downtown, they normally have to put in a swale of some kind or whatever. But the newer areas all have storm water.
Councilor Boken?
Thank you, Your Worship. Through the chair to Werner. You answered most of my questions I had written down here. When you said a few minutes ago, whether the new houses, some might get 1 or 2 or 3 rain barrels, I'm a little interested in how, if this gets mandated into a bylaw, how is this going to get policed? Are they going to get told where to put the barrels? Or if they don't want the barrel there, can they move it to a different downspout?
If there is no issue, no clear demonstrable issue, I think we would tell the developer, look, tell us where you're putting the rain barrel, and that's where you're going to put it, and that would be the end of it. If we see a situation that, and it's going to happen mostly on transitional lots where you're going, say, from a split drainage lot to a walkout, and you've got something not neither, and there's often issues there, or like we're talking, the bylaw is written, applies to new subdivisions, so it doesn't apply to the infill situations of the downtown. But if we were to sense an issue, and it's like, especially on a large multifamily project, we might ask one, if it's a fourplex on a 50-foot lot with minimal side yards, well, maybe one on each corner is not unreasonable if it has to be drained both to the street and to the lane. We're not doing lanes in new subdivisions, but I don't want to preclude ourselves from, we required 1 storm or 1 rain barrel, and it didn't accomplish anything because, the problem was much greater than the ability of the 1 rain barrel to address it.
So in your opinion, having 1 or 2 or 3 rain barrels on a lot in a new subdivision is going to, obviously it'll help the stormwater issue, but it's not going to do that much, is it really? those barrels in an average rainfall take, I think mine takes about 15 minutes and they're filled up.
You know, I haven't done the calculations on that. I don't think I can give you a good answer. It really will depend in part on the lot, how much of a driveway there is, how much roof there is, and how much, other hard surfacing there is. I would not expect for a single detached dwelling that we would ask for, we would be obligated to require one. We may require two in the odd circumstance, but I think there would have to be extraordinary circumstances to ask for three.
So you have 2 barrels that are filled up. I mean, I forget what the liters are. In these things. Is that what they are?
Well, for the ones at the town site.
Is that 225 liters?
284 liters.
Okay, that's fine.
Do you really think that makes a big difference in the scope of things?
It can. It can in the sense that
I suppose if 1,000 houses have 2 barrels, if you look at it that way.
it's going to mitigate your peak. But I mean, if it rains all week long, right, and you have a slow, long rain, it may not make a significant difference. But where it will is if it's a short-term event, if it's been raining for several days, the ground is saturated. We're in a part of town that we know has, or we discovered, it's near a canal. It has a high water table. Anything that you can take out of the system is probably good. And one of your other options, it's not maybe so much a stormwater issue per se at that point, it's a high water table issue per se. The other option is plant some trees. And I know that seems rather, what, but trust me, that can make a huge difference. Knock down a willow tree, you may have water in your basement where you didn't have it before. And I speak from personal experience.
I suppose what I'm getting at here is you got a couple of barrels that are filled up after a rainfall, and people that don't know how to use these barrels properly or have no interest in using them at all. Okay, well, the barrel's full. They have a garden hose attached to it. Let's empty this barrel, and then it's empty for the next rainfall. So what are we really gaining?
Well, you're reducing the rate of release. That's what this is all about. Whether you're doing a
Hopefully they have a garden hose on it, or the water ends up laying beside the house.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the reasons that the city of Calgary has put on such an information blog on this. Yeah, don't install them and forget them. Because if it freezes up, and I mean, there are buildings within a stone's throw of this building that have external scuppers that drain down onto grass. Those scuppers are frozen at the top. So whether they're frozen at the top or frozen at the bottom is.
Thanks, Wonder.
Okay. Deputy Mayor Walls?
Your worship, just one more question to the director. Does this apply only to single family dwelling homes, or is this R3X? Are we talking about buildings like Chinook 3? Or are we talking single family homes?
Well, as written,
I believe it just, if I'm quoting this right, it looks like it just says 2 dwelling units.
it applies to a building containing 1 or more dwelling units. So a single detached dwelling, a duplex, a fourplex. If the lot containing the building was created after January 1st, 2015, and it's contained in a subdivision which creates 3 or more lots. So we won't, like, if somebody takes a 50-foot lot downtown and splits it into 2, we'd say, well, it's not compulsory, but we'd probably look at it anyway. So it has to be like a new subdivision, a greenfield subdivision of some sort. Where what we've excluded is a country residential district, because if you have a lot that's 650 meters squared, I don't think you need a rain barrel.
So your worship, so like a building like the Chinook 3, I believe it's R3X, they would be required to have rain barrels as well?
No, it's not in a new subdivision. It's not compulsory by reason of this bylaw, but a new building in the downtown, given the way the bylaw is currently written, a rain barrel is certainly an option. Again, I would reference page 30, page 43 of the agenda package. That's what's in the bylaw at the moment. And so the first few points are requiring a lot grading or drainage plan, directing drainage to a street, a lane, or a right-of-way maintained by the town. And last but not least, when we meet with applicants early on, we tell them that, over and above a site plan, we require a lot grading, drainage, site grading, site drainage, and site servicing plan. Where are you putting the services? Where does it drain, and where are the lot grades, to make sure that it's not impacting other properties. And through that process, we can require the modification of grade, the construction of on-site stormwater detention areas like a rain garden or a swale, or even a depressed area around a catch basin. And that gets into all these storm sewer calculations that are kind of, I don't do them. Swales, trench drains, eaves troughs, and I think it was just oversight, not on purpose, that rain barrels weren't thrown into the mix, but it says other apparatus. I could go on, scuppers.
So, Your Worship, if I may, just one more question. Sure. So if we already have this, and then just to be clear, this land use bylaw extract is already in our current bylaw, correct?
Yes.
So if we already have these measures, it's up to the development officer, if I will. We don't really have to put this in there. It's at your discretion. Is that correct?
We would certainly be much more vigorous in looking at storm drainage options in an existing area such as the downtown, where we don't have a storm sewer, than in a new subdivision where I don't think we would require rain barrels in a new subdivision if we didn't see a problem. There would have to be something that, over and above, because the lot grades, like I said earlier, the engineers are probably over-engineering them, providing a significant factor of safety to allow for settling, to allow for maybe errors in construction, and so on and so forth. So whether a rain barrel in a new subdivision would be of much benefit, I don't know. I think it can be in some circumstances if there's a great deal of hard surfacing, but we are still, the evapotranspiration rate in this neck of the woods is still negative. We still get more evaporation and transpiration than we do get precipitation, which is why we are compelled to irrigate. It's that water that we store in the rain barrels that helps us out in that situation. So it's not, that's sort of, in the new subdivision, I think it's more of a conservation method issue than it is a stormwater management issue.
Your Worship, thank you very much.
Any further questions? And if you have any closing comments?
As indicated, we've suggested two options: adopt the bylaw as is, or adopt it with the deletion of, I believe it's section 101.4.
Well, then, I will take a motion to close the public hearing.
I'll move that, Your Worship.
Okay, I have a motion to close public hearing. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? And carried. Thank you. Item on the agenda is additions or deletions to the agenda. And let's start from the other side for a change. Councillor Field.
I have nothing, Your Worship.
Councillor Peterson.
I have nothing, Your Worship.
Councillor Walsh.
Your Worship, I have nothing. Thank you.
Councillor Buckland.
I have nothing, Your Worship.
And Councillor Sobel.
Your Worship, if I could have council's indulgence to add a item onto new business 9.3 being the RCMP.
9.3 RCMP.
Thank you.
Okay.
We got to talk, see if administration has anything. And I don't know whether or not it needs to be a question, but on the agenda, but I do have a question to ask administration. Minor question. And administration, do you have anything to add?
We have none.
None? Okay.
Worship, I move to adopt the agenda as amended.
We have a motion on the floor. All in favor? And carried. And adoption of the January 7th, 2015 regular council meeting minutes.
Worship, I move the council adopt the January 7, 2015 regular council meeting minutes as presented.
We have a motion on the floor. Is there any
Your worship.
Yes.
I just wanted to point out, as far as approving those minutes, it mentions that I was in attendance on January 7th, 2015, but I was actually sick that day, so I wasn't here. And I don't know if it's a housekeeping item, but I'd like to maybe reword the minutes. It says that I was removed from 2 committees, but I think there's been some confusion out in the public that
You're so
that they wanted to get rid of me. I think I just wanted to maybe word it differently.
What page
That
is that, Counselor?
I've lost what page it's on. It hurt my
Page 7.
feelings a
Page
lot.
7,
Thank
I
you.
found it.
8.3.
So if maybe we could massage the wording to change that just a touch, that I've stepped down to allow Councillor Graychuk to assume 2 committees. That might be nicer. He's kicked me out.
All right, we have some
Your
amendments.
worship, I would move that
Okay.
friendly amendment to the minutes, providing Counselor Sol, who was the mover, who probably wanted you removed, maybe, you know?
He's been gunning for me.
I would move that.
Okay, we have a motion to amend, and I think correct me if I'm wrong, we have to approve the amendment first.
Thank you, Worship. I'm willing to accept that as a mover. I'm willing to accept that as a friendly amendment.
All in favor of the amended agenda then, please? And carried. Delegations, new business, and if we could have the Max Sorry star. Mrs. Ford? Yes. Come forward and have a chair, introduce yourself, and say hi to us.
Morning, good evening, Mayor and councilors. I'm Macarena Ford, and I just opened a Filipino store, and I'm very proud because I didn't expect that there are really lots of Filipinos here in Strathmore. And I thank Mayor Michael L. to be there with me and Councilor Bob Sobel. Yeah, I hope I'll be here in downtown Strathmore to serve Filipinos as well as Canadians as well. I was so surprised there are lots of Canadians that come because of the published in my store. I was so happy for that, and the store is doing well, and I'm proud of that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Anybody want to make any comments?
Yes, Your Worship.
Your Councilor Peterson.
I just want to say thank you so much for choosing our town to come to, and it's a beautiful store and a great addition to our downtown, and adds an exotic touch to our community. We're really glad to have you.
Thank you very much as well, ma'am.
Anything else? No? Thank you, and yes, we are proud to have you here.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Mayor.
Thank you.
Next item on the agenda is Savannah Sandry. If you'd like to come forward, introduce yourself. Oh, okay. This is just a recommendation.
Good evening. My name is Savannah. I am here to introduce myself. I do equestrian show jumping. I was wondering if it would be okay if I brought you up. I made a booklet.
We'd love that.
Yes.
Thank you, Savannah.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.
I'm training for the Youth Olympics. My background history is I've only been riding for a year and about a half, and I am training to go to the Youth Olympics. So you have to be 16 to go to the Youth Olympics, and you cannot be over 18 to go. So it's a small time slot to train for me, but my coach, Frank Sellinger, he thinks it's possible, and I do too. I believe in myself to do it. I am trying, well, in February, I am trying to get to California. It costs $2,800 to get my horse down there and back. That's not including show fees, which is $5,000. I'm trying to raise money by selling my calendars for $10 each to try and raise my money to get there. I've also saved my money from like babysitting and all of that kind of stuff. And so far I have $2,169 saved. My goal is to try and get 5,000. Sorry.
No, it's okay. Take your time.
The horse that I'm training on right now is the white and black horse. Her name is Chili. She's probably on the back. Her and I have jumped at Spruce Meadows and won 5th place out of 49 other people. If you guys don't know what Spruce Meadows is, it's where people around the world can go and do show jumping. So I'm here to introduce myself and give you my sponsorship proposal.
If you don't mind, I think Councillor Peterson would have a question.
I have no questions, Your Worship. I just want to say that I think it was in October I saw you at Spruce Meadows.
Yes.
And I was so excited to have my grandchildren there and say, I've seen this girl in the Strathmore Standard. Anyway, it was very exciting to see you. And I think you're an amazing representative for our community.
Thank you.
And I would like to move the motion to offer sponsorship to Savannah in the amount that she requested, which I believe is $2,000. And I would also ask that we be allowed to promote you on our website, on our new town website. And I really congratulate you for what you've done. I know that show jumping is very expensive and very rewarding. And I believe that with your great start, you'll be with Eric Lamaze and Ian Miller and other great Canadians. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. We have a motion on the floor. Is there any questions that you have of Savannah? No? As soon as we have a motion on the floor, is there any discussion before we call the vote? All in favor of the motion? Carried.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very
Good
much.
luck.
Good luck, Savannah.
Savannah, you should also ask our town representatives if you could promote your calendars too.
There's several people here that might want one.
Got a captive audience.
Would you guys like one?
I would like one, yes. I just have to borrow the money from Councilor Freeman.
I was going to buy one, but I don't have the money here either.
We'll get you. What school do you go to?
I go to Calgary.
Okay, we'll make sure you get the money there.
I'm gonna buy it.
Would you guys all like one?
I think they all should buy one.
They may not have cash with them today. They're just town councillors.
Some of us are poor teachers.
Well, I'll get you your money.
So we'll send it to Crowther. Yeah, we'll
Here
send
you
it
go,
to,
Savannah. There you go.
We'll send it to Mr. Wright.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
So we can bring the money to Crowder.
Don't trust them.
Thanks. Kick me off committees, don't trust me.
You know, I'm sure this kind of thing doesn't happen in city council in Calgary, and that's why we're lucky enough to be a town, a small community, a friendly community. So
My grandchildren.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. And once you're in California, if you have access to the internet, send us pictures.
Oh, on the back of my small picture, on the back of my calendar, there is a Facebook page that you can follow.
Oh,
then
great.
I will be posting videos of me every day.
Well done.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I noticed Deputy Mayor Walls keeps me on track the best he can. The recommendation under the Mac Sorry Start was to, how was that put? To welcome them, so. It's
Worship, I move the council welcome the Max
Sorry Start.
to the town of Strathmore.
All in favor? And carried. Next item is Celebration of Lights Christmas Park. And we have two people that wish to come forward, and
Thank
Rose
you.
and Dennis, welcome.
Now, just see,
Did you know?
if you don't mind, we're going to run a little bit of a slideshow.
He knows I'm going to mention that.
Right, if your computer will work for us. You said just to tip, just to touch it.
Famous last words.
I don't think it's on. There we go.
Thank you for having us. Of course, this is our 7th annual Light Up the Night, as well as opening evening at the last Saturday in November. We have Photos with Santa, which is Christmas Eve, and then we have our 2nd annual New Year's Eve party, which we've had about 1,200 people this past year. If you don't mind, I'll just give you a little information. Thank you.
Thanks, Rose.
Thanks, Rosie.
Thank you, Rose.
Thank you, Rose.
Our park basically works on donations and whatever we can raise through our fundraising efforts throughout the year. This past couple of years, of course, it has been a little difficult. We have had approximately probably 35,000 people that come through in our whole season from last week of November into 2nd week of January. This is completely run by volunteers. We build our own displays. As you can see, I'm probably the one that builds the perimeter of everything. And then all our inside lights are come in by volunteers. Dennis? Dennis?
We work under the umbrella of the Agricultural Society. So we use the baseball facility out at the grounds. We have had some, over the last 7 years, we are coming to an age where the last of our incandescent rope lights and a lot of our incandescent lights that were first put up have now failed and are failing quite regularly. So a lot of our displays in the past year, we've started rebuilding, and you'll see this year, we see some of our older facades that were redone this year with all new rope lights on them. Look, they were on the 2nd diamond. So we're looking at now the Candy Cane Alley is again one of the older sections of lighting we have. And as the older, one of the handy buses went through, they were counting how many candy canes and questioning why there was less every year. It's simply we can't, it's getting that we just can't keep them operating. We have very, very large crowds, and we have a fantastic following of people anymore. And more people actually, rather than just driving by, actually come in to visit. The events throughout the season have been very, very well received. The weather this year was fantastic. We have some new volunteers that want to get involved with it. The Lions Club, which is our naming sponsor, have been phenomenal as far as providing people to help put stuff together and helping fundraise for the events. But like I say, because of the age of some of our products, we're looking at some fairly major expenses.
The other thing is we lost a major sponsor last year, which put us in a situation where we may have a slight deficit this year going into next year's budget. Our budget's been struck now, and we'll do fundraising from now until next October when they'll present a new budget, and that'll be for the next season going. But like I say, at this point, we have purchased whatever we can for product Boxing Day sales and wherever we can to keep our costs down. So all of our expenses are basically for product and or services. We have fireworks 2 evenings of the event. There's a cost involved with that. There's a cost with a lot of incidental things. Any questions or?
Deputy Mayor Walls.
Your worship, to our presenters, is it just local people that attend, or is it people from all over?
We actually have people from all over the world. We had people from Australia show up. We had people from Nova Scotia. We've had people from all over Alberta and BC, from the States. Strathmore people now are all over the world, and they come home at Christmas time, and as a family, they come to our site. We have a couple of interesting stories this year. We had a couple who he was stricken with some health issues and ended up in our hospital having intravenous every night. So the family came to the grounds every night just to get away from the hospital.
Thank you, Richard.
Councillor Sobel.
Thanks. I really am I'm not sure where to start with this group because I am just so impressed with everything you folks did. You're when you speak about your volunteers, stop that.
I know how hard you work on it.
I know, and it is touching. It is, Rose, and you guys. I'm just amazed at the job you do. But I did want to say that I visited a couple of times, and I was just so impressed with the quality and the attitude of your volunteers. I mean, what they're doing for our town is you can't even count what they're doing for the town, because it's putting us in such a great light. People enjoy that area so much. And I hear this I hear this from people that I visit with, and I see those comments on Facebook, and there's tons of them there, and it's not just from Strathmore people. It's I'm reading from all over the province, people visiting in Calgary or driving out to Strathmore to see this. So you guys have done a remarkable job in the last 7 years. I just commend you, and I certainly do not have any issue with helping you guys out with this.
Councillor Peterson.
In response to Councillor Wall's question about where the people came from, and I can say that we have a daughter who, one of our daughters lives in Calgary and belongs to a Facebook page. And you know how often I was out there, a lot. Because after the first time, when my grandchildren came out, they could not wait to come out again and again and again. And she belongs to a large Facebook group of young parents supporting each other. Of the group, she was doing a little survey, and she said between 300 and 400 of that group alone came to visit Strathmore. And just since the middle of December, 3 of them have actually are buying houses here. And so that's beautiful. Well, it's an amazing, and so one of the things that one of her friends had said was when she came out to see this display and came out for the New Year's party as well, she said, this is a crazy kind of optimism that I haven't seen in any other community, and we want this for our children. And I was reading an article the other day, a guy named George Guardian, and he said it's true that human beings pay a big price when they fail to connect. And I think that was the beauty of this, and it was the ongoing dedication of these volunteers, which was just extremely touching to see. And then the culmination at New Year's Eve for children in the community. And I've worked with many, many young families for many years in this community. And when I saw the contribution that something like that could make to families that otherwise could not have participated in something like that, it was pretty profound.
It was nice for us to be able to give to families that can't afford big New Year's parties, and so much of what was done that night was just given by myself and a few other people. To be able to see those 1,200 people just so happy and yeah, it was nice.
Councillor Sobel, I think.
No, go ahead.
Go ahead.
I already
Councillor
spoke. Yeah, but that's okay. I just want to make a comment.
My turn?
Yes.
Thank you, Your Worship.
Thank you.
Through the chair to Rose and Dennis, there's a few things I want to say, but the first thing I want to say right off the top is a very big thank you to both of you. On behalf of not only council and administration, but everybody in Wheatland County and what you people do for this town. You take basically 2.5, 3 months of your life putting this thing together from start to finish, night after night after night. It's unreal. I can't thank you enough for all that. What Rose and Dennis started in conjunction with the Ag Society some 7 years ago has now turned into a major attraction to Strathmore at Christmas time, drawing numbers close to Heritage Days. I've heard many compliments that Strathmore has a better light show than Airdrie, and I've never seen Airdrie, so I can't make my judgment on that. I know what we got here, and it's pretty nice. I've also heard many other compliments for opening night festivities, Christmas Eve, and New Year's Eve. Like Rosie said, 1,200 people showing up for New Year's Eve. That's pretty good. The Celebration of Lights operates on what I would call a shoestring budget, relying heavily on corporate / business / in-kind donations. I strongly urge council to continue with our financial support, doubling it to the $5,000 number when the Celebration of Lights fills out the approved donation request form. I really believe this is a good thing for Strathmore, and we should throw more financial support behind you guys. Thank you.
Councillor Field.
I'll keep mine brief. I just want to echo what the other councillors have said and thank you and your volunteers for all the time, because what you do celebrates that season, but it also helps showcase the town, and it brings the town together on a regular basis nightly to see the beautiful lights that you guys have all put up. So again, thank you and your volunteers for everything you've done, and I am fully in support of this as well.
Councillor Sobel.
If I could, just a very quick anecdote for the New Year's Eve function up there. I took the liberty of posting the event on my Facebook page, and very shortly thereafter, I looked back and there had been, and I can't remember Rose, but 500 or 600 views on it. And I started getting a little worried.
I know.
So I contacted Rose and I said, you may be getting a bigger crowd than you're expecting. And I just, her response to this was just beautiful. She said, I got to go out and get some more pizza. So good on you. And I'm glad it was 1,200, and I'm glad you were able to deal with it. Thanks, Rose.
Deputy Mayor Walsh.
Your Worship, one thing that I personally knowing Dennis and Rose, they give a lot of their own financial support to this organization as well. And I think that really shows the spirit. And you guys really have become ambassadors for our town. And I really thank you from the bottom of my heart.
I'm going to cry.
More.
Thank you is not nearly enough. You are what makes Strathmore such a great community. Your volunteers are what makes Strathmore such a great community. And all I can say is thank you to each and every one of you. Now, are we going to entertain a motion, or
Oh, yeah.
do you?
I think we should. Your Worship,
Do we need one of those forms?
Well, Rocky said,
We can
you know,
do-
when the firm comes, we can put that into the motion, right? Put
Yeah.
that into the motion.
Yeah.
Upon receipt.
Upon receipt of
Yeah.
the form.
Yeah.
Your Worship, I'm prepared to move that we increase the town of Strathmore support to $7,500 upon us receiving
I'm gonna
proper
cry.
documentation from the group.
Money to be taken from?
And money to be taken for the financial stabilization.
Thank you.
Any discussion?
Your Worship, perhaps maybe if I may speak on the motion, I think that it's really important for us to show good support, and with the Candy Cane Avenue alley, whatever you want to refer to it as, maybe a name change, the Strathmore town of Strathmore have, or Strathmore Street or something.
Strathmore candy cane.
Strathmore candy cane. But, no, I thank you, Your Worship.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Carried. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Good work.
Councillor Field?
You know, we don't know
Get the light
shut
switch
this
there.
off.
Oh,
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for having
No,
us.
thank you.
Thank you.
Let's give away some more money.
we'll get that back.
Yeah, you gonna turn that off, Tim? Yeah. Next item on our agenda is the Strathmore 2015 Alberta 55 Plus Summer Games Society. And Ms. Ladine, would you like to come forward?
Good evening, Mayor and Councillors. I'd like to introduce Colleen Huber, who is also our games manager and is the go-to person in the office to help getting everything done. We presented a report that was sent out to you by email, so if you have any questions or would like to make comments, we'd be happy to answer them.
Questions? Comments?
I guess the only thing I would like to then just promote for us are the fundraising events that we have going that are up and coming prior to the event in July. We are very excited to be hosting an NHL Calgary Flames alumni hockey game on March the 15th. And this is going to, I think, prove to be a lot of fun for our community. It's never been had here and probably won't be had again for a while anyway, now that we've got one. So we are going to gradually reveal who the Flames are who are coming. And we also have an opportunity for 3 Strathmore people to bid on playing with the Flames teams.
Oh.
And so there will be the month of February, we will be inviting silent bids, and we will let you know once a week what the bid is and who has placed the highest bid, and we'll see where we can get to. If you also are a coach and would like to coach the Flames team, you can bid to be the coach for the day. The old timers are going to play them. So it's a group with Keith Clayton and company from Karen Hill. And they've been playing together for a while. And there will also be an opportunity for Pee-wee.
Yeah,
No.
so the tykes and the novice players are going to play at intermission, and the Flames will be out there with photo opportunities and all of that. So we're quite excited about it.
And there will be a meet and greet at the Civic Center afterwards where they will come and have pictures taken and sign souvenirs, and we'll have a bit of a silent auction with some hockey memorabilia. The second item of this fundraising is the Dream Vacation raffle that we have on the go. The tickets are $100. We have 2,000 tickets and 12 opportunities to win a $5,000 voucher for travel. We are looking for any support of people who would like to help us sell these tickets or people who would like to win them, buy them, buy them. Travel as a travel voucher, so you can go wherever you want with this. You don't have, it's not a pre-planned trip, and your ticket for $100 is put in for every draw. So you have 12 opportunities to win. The draw for that is April the 21st, and so we're hot on trying to sell these tickets. So if any of you are looking for a really good opportunity to give your wife a trip away, well, you can buy a ticket. Secondly, or your spouse, Mrs. Peterson.
Where can you buy the tickets?
You can buy the tickets from the games office. You can buy the tickets from Bob.
And our front office.
And, the front office here. And Tracy, you have some?
And at the games office as well.
And I have some. So
And
they're
where's the games
round and
office?
about.
It's right above Gold Key Insurance.
Okay.
We also have a golf tournament planned for May the 30th, and this will be at the Strathmore Golf Course. You don't have to be a golf pro to play in our golf tournament. That's why it's called the Easygoing Golf Tournament. So anybody of any caliber is welcome to come and have some fun with us. And lastly, we have a Beatles tribute concert with a group from LA that will be performing in the Gold Arena. So it's an indoor concert on June the 20th. And tickets aren't printed yet for that one, but we're working on the hockey game first. So these are all fundraisers. We invite members of the community, businesses in the community to help us pay for some of these events so that in the end, the proceeds from the event will all go towards the summer games that we're trying to raise the money for. So, and we have lots of other things going on, but that's just a focus for us right now.
And I think some of the other things we're focusing on over the spring is we want to make sure that people that are 55 plus within Strathmore and our zone are participating. So we're planning on hosting some clinics to introduce some of the people that haven't done some of the sports, really realize what the games are and get them to come out and try it and hopefully maybe sign up and try to make coming. Another thing that we're doing to try to help prepare for the games is people have to go to zone playoffs in order to make it into the games. So we have put in to host just about every zone 2 playoff that we can. So that'll give everybody a dry run of their activity before it actually comes time to the games. And then I think another big thing that we're finding we're spending a lot of time working on is going out to the public and looking for volunteers and host billets to make sure the games are a success.
There's no dull moments.
No.
Oh.
None.
And discussion or questions?
Question, Your Worship. So you guys got a lot going on, and I'm sure you have. You must have some website that if people want to get on there and learn a little bit more about the games and information, what would that site be?
It's www.2015strathmoregames.ca.
Thank you.
No further questions? No motion? Pardon me? Okay. Thank you very much for your presentation, and we are looking forward to all of the activities and to the plus 55s.
There's more too.
Oh, there's more to this?
Yes.
Okay.
Tracy, come on. Sure.
A little preamble.
On behalf of the town of Strathmore, we would like to provide some financial contributions to the game to make sure that they are a success. And so today we'd like to present the games with $131,000. This money is not to you. This money is going to go towards paying the staff wages so that the event is run smoothly and is organized and successful.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very
much. Thank you very much, Council.
Next item on our agenda is the swearing in of our firefighters, and if Chief Berzer would come forward, please.
Give it 2 minutes. I know there's a family member that are.
Okay. Yep.
We'll take a 2-minute break.
Yeah, maybe a 2-minute break.
Your Worship, before we do that, I just would like to move that we accept the report provided by the Alberta
Make a motion.
Plus 55 Summer Games Committee.
Okay, we've got a motion on the floor to accept the report from Plus 55. All in favor? And carried. And 2 minutes. Go for it.
You know what? We already did.
First motion.
Your worship and council and administration, thank you very much for taking some time from your busy schedule tonight and swearing in a couple of new firefighters. I'd like to introduce to you firefighter Laking and firefighter Paralino to come forward, and I would like to ask yourself and the deputy mayor to step forward so we can proceed with the swearing in ceremony.
So, Strathmore firefighters oath of service. I,
I,
your name, please.
Walter Laking,
Promise concern for others,
promise concern for others,
a willingness to help all those in need.
a willingness to help those all in need.
I promise strength,
I promise strength,
strength of heart to bear
strength of heart to bear
whatever burdens might be placed upon me,
whatever burdens might be placed upon me,
strength of body
strength of body
to deliver
to
to safety all those placed within my care.
to safety all those placed within my care.
I promise dedication,
I promise dedication,
dedication to my brothers and sisters
dedication to my brothers and sisters
within the emergency services,
within the emergency services,
dedication to my community,
dedications to my community,
its citizens and visitors.
its citizens and visitors.
I promise courage,
I promise courage,
courage to face and conquer my fears,
courage to face and conquer my fears,
courage to share and endure
courage to share and endure,
the ordeal of those who need me,
to endure
endure
and endure
the ordeal
of those who need me.
I promise compassion,
I promise compassion,
compassion to comfort those in distress,
compassion to comfort those in distress,
compassion to support families
compassion to support families
of those who have
made
the ultimate sacrifice.
made the ultimate sacrifice.
I promise wisdom,
I promise wisdom,
wisdom to lead,
to
share my knowledge,
share my knowledge,
and skill with my colleagues and descendants.
my skills with my colleagues and my descendants.
And by accepting this badge, a symbol of public faith and trust,
a symbol of public faith and trust,
will endeavor to protect the citizens and guests of Strathmore from danger to their life, property, and environment. The Strathmore Firefighters Oath of Service. I, your name, please.
I, Agapito Paraina Jr.,
Promise concern
promise concern
for others,
for others,
a willingness
a willingness
to help
to help
all those
in need.
I promise strength,
I promise strength
strength of heart
to
to
bear
whatever burdens
might be placed
upon me, strength of body
to
deliver
to
safety
all those
placed within my care. I promise dedication,
I promise dedication
dedication to my brothers
and
and
sisters
within the emergency
within
services.
within the emergency services,
Dedication to my community,
its
citizens,
and citizens
and visitors.
and visitors.
I promise courage,
I promise courage
courage to face
and
conquer
my
fear. Courage to share and endure the ordeal of those who need me. I promise compassion,
I promise compassion
compassion to comfort those in distress, compassion to support families of those who have made the ultimate
sacrifice.
I promise wisdom,
I promise wisdom
wisdom to lead,
to
share my knowledge and
skills
with my
colleagues
and descendants.
And
By accepting
by accepting
this badge,
this badge
a symbol
as symbol
of public faith
of public faith
and trust
and strength
will endeavor
will endeavor
to protect
to protect
the citizens
the citizen
and guests
and yet
of Strathmore
of Strathmore
from danger
from danger
to their life,
to their life,
property,
property,
and environment.
and environment.
Sorry.
Thank you, guys. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Congratulations and thanks very much.
Your Worship, Mayor and Council, Administration, thank you very much for taking your time. And this concludes our small presentation tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mayor.
Next item on our agenda is bylaw 7.1, bylaw 1422, community garden and rain barrel additions to the LED. That's being brought forward by planning and development.
Your Worship, while we're waiting, is it possible to make a motion, turn the heat up in here?
No motion.
No, Your Worship.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're cool.
Sorry, Your Worship.
Oh, that's okay.
Can't be done.
Coming, Your Worship.
Mr. Fisher, we are doing second and third reading of bylaw 1422. And that's being brought forward by planning and development. So, have a chair.
Your Worship, I would move that council give second reading to bylaw 14-22.
We have a motion on the floor for second reading of 1422. Would you like to discuss on second reading?
Yes.
Yes. Questions? Any questions? Discussion? Who's first?
I think you were first.
Your Worship, thank you very much. First of all, I want to thank administration for all their effort put in this bylaw. I do have a couple of questions to our development officer. Currently in our land use bylaw, it allows for discretion if you feel you need to implement some type of storm water management. Do you currently have those powers already?
That's correct.
Okay.
That's correct.
Thank you, Your Worship. No further questions, comment afterwards, though.
Question, Councilor Sullivan?
I think there was others ahead of me.
Okay.
I think everybody was ahead of me.
Thanks, Your Worship. Through the chair to Mr. Fisher, Werner, would you have an idea or some kind of a strong idea as to the cost to the builder? I know we had a letter that was written by one of the developers against this bylaw. I'm just wondering if we know an actual cost to a typical builder to have a mandated rain barrel. And based on what I've read, as far as the grading, it doesn't look like we'd necessarily need a concrete pad.
If somebody wanted to put one in, go ahead. I'd say, look, the property should be graded and compacted sufficiently so there isn't too much settling to begin with. certainly putting a rain barrel on it, of course, we have clay soils, even if it's flat, it's gonna depress over time. Does that when I walk across it. Sorry.
So it would.
I don't know. Would the town provide I don't know. I don't know what the cost of the rain barrel is, and I don't know. I haven't priced the price of a concrete slab recently, but
yeah.
Good grief, if it starts to settle, get a shovel of dirt and throw it underneath and level it, or throw a 2x4 underneath it.
Okay, and my second question, if I could, Your Worship, through the chair to Mr. Fisher again, is based on what you told us about new subdivisions and the way they're graded and the way they're monitored that way, do you see this idea or bylaw proposition of rain barrel to each new home? Is it more of a water conservation as opposed to a stormwater management solution?
It can't. I don't know enough about Strathmore at this point to answer that question completely, but I would say that in my experience, there's three aspects: water conservation, stormwater management, and water table management. Even in subdivisions, like in new subdivisions where everything's been done right, all of a sudden over a period of 10, 15, 12, 20 years, something has changed. And now people are getting water in their basement. Traditionally, if one of the two neighbors installs a sump pump, the problem goes away. There's often other ways to deal with it. I have found in some cases where people have just taken, a simple approach rather than the technical approach of installing a sump pump and just extending the downspout further away from their house, that problem has been mitigated. I think rain barrels are a viable option that we have overlooked. It's a very simple, arguably primitive technology, but if the electricity's off, the pump in the backyard that served the farmhouse works. The electric one doesn't. There's something to be said for that kind of simplicity. At the same time, I do have some concerns about making it a mandatory requirement in new subdivisions in all cases, just as a regulation. And I can't say that I've had enough experience in Strathmore to be definitive about that. Because in a case where we have where the water table, or pardon me, where the bedrock is really shallow, we have perched water tables. It may be down just below footing level. We put a house on it, we put a driveway on it, and all of a sudden we've pulled it up a foot. And in those kind of cases, a rain barrel can be of great benefit, because what you're often doing is concentrating a lot of that storm water into a very narrow space between the two houses. With 10 feet separation between buildings is actually much better than 8 feet separation between buildings. But the building code allows you to go to 1.2 meters to property line. So of course, it's what a lot of municipalities are doing, and so you're concentrating ever more water on a smaller area. And so I don't think it's a bad idea. I think in new subdivisions, the primary benefit, I think, would be water conservation, and in some cases, stormwater management. But I think the driving consideration would have to be, stormwater management. Otherwise, we're doing it purely as a water conservation reasons.
That's good, Your Worship.
Councilor?
Thank you, Your Worship. At the risk of repeating some of the comments I made earlier in the hearing, I would like to comment that rain barrels save homeowners money on their water bills. Garden and lawn irrigation accounts for approximately 40% of residential water use during the summer, according to the Environmental Protection Agency. By using rain barrels, homeowners can save somewhere in the vicinity of 500-600 gallons of water during the growing season. Now, rain barrels provide a free water source for irrigation and ease reliance on the town's water supply. It's also noted that as water consumption is tied financially to our sewage cost, reducing water use will save money in 2 areas of a person's monthly bill. Rainwater has been found to be more beneficial to plants and trees. Rain barrels help reduce the flow of storm runoff when it rains. As we all know, a runoff picks up soil fertilizer, pesticides, other contaminants, etc., from hard surfaces and landscapes. And certainly, rain barrels will help alleviate because it will capture that water that would have been swept over a paved surface or a lawn. You know, National Geographic, environmental protection agencies, large and small cities, towns and villages right across this country have all championed the usefulness and common sense of using rain barrels. I believe that as a council, we should be embracing an opportunity to teach new homeowners the value of rain barrels, and quite seriously believe that the builders and developers will see that this is something that people do want to see as an added amenity to their residents. Has it happened anywhere else? I don't think so, but I'm not sure if that's a reason for us not to be aggressive with this amendment. We know it works. This is part of an education process that we're trying to bring in, and it may just hopefully flow from the new areas into the other areas in town once people find out, because this is a small community, and the more people talk about rain barrels, the more people are going to turn around and say, just a second here, maybe I'm missing something, maybe I'm spending a lot of money every year because and I don't have to with an easy fix. This is not complicated. It's not. It's a rain barrel. There's issues, absolutely, and they're fixable. Every one of them is fixable. I have 3 rain barrels around my property. They take a few minutes to deal with during the year, but you know what? It's not the benefits far outweigh any time that you have to spend on that. We have to take the lead on this, council. It's right. It's the right thing to do for our community. It's the right thing to do for our constituents, and it's the right thing to do for our environment. Thank you.
Any further discussion? Councilor Peterson.
Thank you. I would definitely vote in favor of this, because I think in addition to what it does for stormwater management, we need to reconsider using potable water for our lawns and gardens. And 75 gallons of water per rain barrel is substantial, and multiplied by the number of homes in our community, certainly a much needed consideration. And I think it's far more economical solution than retrofitting the irrigation, which this council recently abandoned, specifically because we knew that to retrofit, it would increase taxes significantly to our citizens. And so, you know, rain barrels does seem, in the words of our development officer, primitive. But when I was in the hydrologist journal, which is where I did most of my research on this, it has become a very sophisticated management system in many communities across Europe and North America, and is having a significant impact on communities. And we're in a situation where, as you said, you know, this is not a community yet of great rainfall, a geography where we experience that, and we are taking water from a river that is consistently losing capacity and expected to support more and more of our growing population in terms of Calgary, Okotoks, Strathmore, and others. And I think we need to consider and reconsider using potable water at every point along the way. And I really, I have a lot of consideration for your concerns and for those that were brought forward by Wildflower as well. And I think that that you're absolutely right, that this shouldn't just be a consideration for new developments, that it's something in the future this council has to look at for the entire community, and whether we do that by encouraging people to do it through mandating, or we do it by added costs to people who choose not to do it. I guess that will be something for a future council to consider. But I have balanced my decision at this time by doing the maximum amount of research, and balance that against the idea that to legislate to take away people's right to choose. I don't do that lightly. And I make this decision in the belief that this is the greater value to community and that it will definitely save everyone in the long run.
Councilor Volkel?
Thank you, Your Worship. I'm all in for water management and conservation, as I practice both of them at my business and my property. I do use barrels at my property at where my house is, and I use them on a daily basis. I go through a lot of water in the summertime. If these barrels aren't used properly, though, you are defeating the entire purpose. When I say that, it brings me to October, November, when things start getting colder. If you don't have these barrels empty, I can see in the spring, a lot of these barrels end up in the recycle yard. That's happened to me. They crack, they start leaking, they just pop open. As far as watering lawns with a 75-gallon thing of water in a barrel, you're going to be there all night trying to do that, because that takes a long time. I am unsure if rain barrels should be mandated by bylaw. I think the education part would be a better way to go. And I just can't see this being mandated by bylaws, never mind how they're going to police it. If they want to put a rain barrel here and it's somewhere else, are they going to get in trouble? I don't know. I can't see how this is going to work. Having said all that, I'd like to move an amendment to the motion that's on the floor. To bylaw 14-22, that section 101.4 concerning rain barrels be deleted in their entirety from bylaw 14-22, and that bylaw 14-22 be given second reading with this amendment.
We have an amendment on the floor. Councilor Waltz?
Yeah, Your Worship, I wish to speak to the amendment. I too am all about water conservation, water management, storm management. I definitely see this as something that we need to look at for the areas that there is strong concern. I'd rather see an incentive program set up in which it becomes more of a voluntary. I'd like to see us create an education program working with groups out there that do this to start better educating people and allowing them the option to make that conscious decision whether or not they wish to put this rain barrel in or not. If it comes down to an issue of where, if it's a stormwater issue or a table water issue, we already have legislation in place that allows our development officer, as I've been told twice now, they already have that right. So I personally cannot support this. I will support the amendment.
We have it. Councilor Sobel?
Just in response, Your Worship, if I could, we have a development officer at present who, and no offense, basically I think is somewhat on the fence in regards to rain barrels. Supports them for some reason, is concerned, and I don't know who the next development officer is. I'm not prepared to leave that decision up to the possibility that we're going to have a development officer who supports rain barrels, because there are other ways to deal with stormwater. But this isn't just about stormwater, and that's the issue that I keep trying to make. This isn't. This is about education. This is about saving our water, and a swale or other methods to deal with stormwater does not increase our amount of potable water use on our plants and trees and grass, etc. So I just feel that with it being mandated, this is our chance. This is our opening to start education, and I have no objection with the education. I think education is going to be a huge part of this, but we have to show the way. We have to demonstrate that we're serious about this as a viable option, and the way we do that is to say, no, we're going to start you guys off with a rain barrel, and let's try to increase the use of rain barrels. And I'm not saying that we're going to end up with 100%. I mean, nothing stops a homeowner 2 days after they've moved in from removing that rain barrel. So it's not a matter that they don't have a choice. But at least that option is there for them, and I'm hoping with the people people that are cognizant of the environmental issues in this province are going to appreciate and utilize that rain barrel and increase the use of that. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other discussion? There's only one question that I'll ask, and it's asked of administration. What's a rain barrel cost? What does a rain barrel cost?
They're normally about $50.
Okay, we have an amendment on the floor. No further discussion in regards to the amendment. All in favor of the amendment to change, do you need me to read the amendment out? No? Okay, all in favor to accept the amendment to the motion? All in favor? Opposed? The amendment is defeated. So we'll go back to the original motion for the second reading. Any further discussion on the second reading? All in favor on the second reading? Carried. Oh, opposed? Sorry. Opposed. Carried. Now we need third reading. Motion for third reading.
I'd move that council give third reading to bylaw 14-22.
We have a motion on the floor. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? All in favor and opposed? Oh, did you? Okay, I didn't see it. Opposed? I didn't see it, I'm sorry. Carried.
Thanks, Ron.
Thank you very much. Bylaw number 1505, supplementary assessment bylaw. Mr. T.D. Some people want them. Oh, I'm sorry. The floor is yours, sir.
Thank you, Your Worship. Section 313 of the MGA states if a municipality wishes to require the preparation of a supplementary assessment for improvements, the council must pass a supplementary assessment bylaw authorizing the assessments to be prepared for the purpose of imposing a tax under Part 10 in the same year. This bylaw, 1505, is a housekeeping type bylaw that provides for assessments to be made for new construction during the calendar year 2015, after the initial assessments and rolls have been completed. During 2014, supplementary property taxes amounted to $27,000, just over $27,000. Similar bylaws have been passed in each of the past years.
Worship, I move the council give first reading to bylaw 1505.
All in favor? And carried.
Your worship, I would move that council give second reading to bylaw number 15-05.
Any discussion, questions? Seeing none, all in favor? Carried.
Your worship, I would move that council give unanimous consent for third and final reading to bylaw number 15-05.
All in favor? Carried.
And your worship, I'd move the council give third reading to bylaw 1505.
Any discussion? Questions? Seeing none, all in favor? Carried. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
9.1, town sidewalk property. Councillor Sobel?
Thank you, Your Worship. 2 weeks ago, and as a result of a delegation, council discussed the concept of replacing penalties rather, for homeowners who do not shovel their walkways with warnings. Almost all of council felt that penalties were required, as it was everyone's responsibility to shovel their walkways. During that discussion, however, another issue surfaced, and that was whether or not the town was able to fulfill their responsibilities in regards to cleaning the snow from sidewalks and pathways that we are responsible for. While I readily acknowledge that our public works personnel do a remarkable and commendable job, the fact is that our town is growing, and with that comes additional sidewalks and pathways. I also believe that if we are asking our residents to clean their sidewalks within 48 hours of a snowfall, then we should be prepared to comply as well. So with council's approval, I'm requesting that administration prepare a report on whether our staff have the manpower and the equipment necessary to comply with our sidewalk cleaning bylaw, And if not, to bring back possible options in this regard.
Okay, good. Do we need a motion on that? No? Or is that? is
I'd,
that a
I'd,
motion?
I'd move that,
Okay.
I'd switch that from I would request to I move. And I can supply the clerk with that wording.
Okay. We have a motion on the floor for administration to bring back a report to us in regards to clearing the sidewalks within 48 hours. Questions?
Your worship, just a clarification, that would be just our sidewalks because that's what our citizens are required, not the pathways. Is that correct?
No, I believe pathways are in there as well.
I would not.
I believe the bylaw says sidewalks and pathways in front of, adjacent to a person's property. Pretty sure that's what it says, but I don't have the bylaw for me.
Your worship, can administration?
But at any rate, I wouldn't want to change the bylaw. Our pathways are used as sidewalks, are used as walkways by a lot of people, and I would still like to investigate having them done within the 48 hours too. I think that's a fair request.
All you're requesting is a report.
Just a
back
report.
anyways.
You're
Okay.
correct.
Councillor Blokeland?
Thank you, Your Worship. To administration, that number came out 2 weeks ago when we were talking about this. How many kilometers of sidewalks does the town have? I can't remember.
Wasn't it 40? I think it's about 40 kilometers.
40 kilometers?
Yes,
Counting the pathways too?
I think so.
So I'm thinking this is kind of an unfair situation on the town's side of things to try and clear 40 odd kilometers of sidewalks and pathways in 48 hours. That makes entirely no sense to me at all. These are two different issues.
We have a motion on the floor. Councillor Fuel?
Sorry, thanks, Your Worship. I think the motion is just to bring it to administration to bring us a report on it, and then we can decide if the two are unmanageable or.
This is a little different than shoveling 50 feet in front of your house.
No, I agree. I'm just saying that the motion just deals with having them prepare a report as to whether it's feasible or not for our town staff to be able to achieve this 48-hour removal.
Councillor Peterson?
Well, I think that there's some restrictions in the bylaws just simply because of how we've already designated snow removal for other purposes. Draw your attention to 6.3 of the snow removal bylaw. Attention will be made to remove snow from the central business district roadways after all plowing operations have been completed. And private snow removal is wherever possible, the town will take reasonable steps to notify the public of the snow clearing of affected streets, so that includes our own. Yeah. I think that it's very reasonable if Councillor Slobel's motion to direct administration has the intent of talking about the sidewalks owned by the town, adjacent to town-owned buildings, adjacent to parks. And that's what it says, sidewalk and pathway snow removal. So it talks about those adjacent to the town-owned buildings, sidewalks adjacent to parks, and sidewalks adjacent to properties owned by the town. So we limit it to that.
To sidewalks only? But there is a comment in regards to pathways, is it not?
I know that there are miles and miles of pathways, and the reason that I disagree with it is not because I don't think that they're really important, and I understand that people use them, but one of the things that I see as a new councillor, fairly new councillor, that wasn't considered in the construction of pathways or anticipated in the kilometers and kilometers of pathways was the cost of maintenance for those pathways. And so I think that that's a topic for another day. It's something that's going to take a long-term plan to deal with, and it's something that this council has to deal with into the future. We have to build a different template for the construction of pathways because there's more considerations that we have to build into that, like upkeep, snow removal. And so for that reason, I would suggest that we not consider that in this motion.
I would, and by argument, I would suggest that at this point in time, I would suggest we're very close to success
You're doing good. I know we're doing really well. I know we
in
are.
all.
Yeah.
And I don't know what administration would bring back if indeed we vote to have this report brought back. But if, for instance, an additional manpower for the winter season or for in our park staff that works winter time and an additional bobcat results in us having success with our pathways and our walkways, that would be something that council would have to discuss. This may not be a big fix, is what I'm saying, which is why I'd like to leave the pathways in there.
I guess if it's understood that if there's a huge cost attached to it.
Well,
That it's not a
that's
given that
up
we
to,
move forward.
oh, absolutely not.
So we have a request for administration to come back with a report. No further discussion? No further questions? All in favor? Opposed? Thank you. 9.2 Civic Center donation request, 5 for Life. Sorry it takes so long to get to you. Ms. Simpson, if you would be so kind.
Thank you. We have received a donation request for the town of Strathmore to cover the costs of the Civic Center for the 5 for Life community book sale, which will take place this Saturday, January 24th from 9 until 3. They have the facility booked for the day as well as Friday from 12 to 7 for setup. The total cost of the facility rental is $205.70 before taxes.
And I think we have the form that needs to be filled in attached.
Yes.
So,
Your worship,
any-
I would move that council approve the donation of the Civic Center for the 5 for Life Coalition's community book sale on Saturday, January 24th, 2015.
Councillor Sobel.
Just one question. Can you just confirm this is a nonprofit organization?
Yes, it is.
Thank you.
nonprofit.
We have a motion on the floor. No further discussion. All in favor? Carried. And thank you. Administration, nothing from administration. We don't do departmental report. 9.3 RCMP and Councillor Sobel. It's right there.
Thank you, Your Worship. Earlier today, RCMP Constable Dave Wynn, age 42, succumbed to the injuries he sustained while performing his duties in St. Albert, Alberta. Dave was married with 3 children. Also injured in that particular incident was Auxiliary Constable Derek Bond, age 49. Derek sustained the gunshot to the arm and torso, and although his injuries are serious, he is expected to fully recover. There is no community in this province or this country which is immune from the very tragic events which took place recently in St. Albert. Every peace officer that I've ever known, and I've known quite a few, realized this type of violence and insanity is sadly part of the job. To all of the peace officers who continue to try and keep our community safe, as well as our communities, other communities in this country, thank you. Your Worship, I would move that a letter be forwarded to the Mayor of St. Albert acknowledging their loss and pledging our support and prayers for both Derek Bond, his family, and of course, for Dave Wynn's family.
We have a motion on the floor. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Carried.
Thank you.
Questions between councillors and administration? And we'll start with Councillor Field today.
I have nothing, Your Worship.
Councillor Peterson?
I have nothing, Your Worship.
Well,
Your Worship, I'm speechless.
so you have nothing.
I have nothing.
And Councillor Blokland?
Your worship, I have one small item here regarding town phones.
Okay.
I'm just questioning why outside businesses are using our town phones to promote their business for their own business purposes. I don't know if that's what these town phones are meant for. I noticed today there's two texts or messages on there from one particular business.
I'm puzzled. I don't have any information.
I didn't get
I get it.
So you're receiving these texts from businesses?
Yeah, and they're on there quite a bit.
So are they issuing the
I'm not
text
putting,
on?
I don't put my business on there to sell stuff. The Strathmore Times that we contract with, I don't believe they do that.
So we're just receiving them on
I'm
the town?
receiving them, yeah.
You're receiving them on the
I
town?
don't know if anybody else is.
Okay.
Don't know if we have any control over that anyway.
Yeah. Does administration want to make a comment in regards to receiving text messages?
None
on
of
our
us
cell phones?
ever have.
Yeah.
You can maybe bring your phone in and we can have
I can do that.
Sam have a look.
Okay. Good. Thank you. Councillor Stallman?
One question to administration. Back in the fall of 2014, I happened to have a conversation with Colin Huckstead, and it pertained to Christmas trees that were going to be left over after the Christmas season. In the years past, and I know there's been a number of things that have happened to them. There's been the tree burn, and then there was a request for all trees to be brought down to the recycle yard. And during this conversation, to be quite frank, Mr. Huckstead just simply said, I have no problem with picking up these trees. And I know for a fact that all Christmas trees from the Christmas season were asked to be placed outside and were picked up by Huckstead. I guess my question to administration was this, I know we had contract talks in the fall, was this additional pickup part of the contract, and was this a cost to our taxpayers?
No, this was actually added into the contract as one additional pickup at no extra cost. It was the same charge. Mr. Huckstead offered to do one additional pickup in the month of January for Christmas trees.
Thanks. And with that in mind, I'd just like to commend Huckstead's. This is a great community thing that he's done for us to pick up these trees. And I know they're recycled, and I think that's a great thing. But to have his people go out to pick up these trees, I think it helped a lot of people out, and I just wanted to express my appreciation to him. Thank you.
I'll make sure he knows that.
Good, thank you. And mine's a way of a question in regards to an idea. I'm wondering if administrations has a list of the clubs and associations that are needing space and looking for buildings in our town, and a listing of who the contacts would be for that. And the reason that I'm asking that is I was talking with somebody with the Calgary Regional Partnership, and there may be a way to gather all of the different different clubs and associations and maybe come up with a solution for at least some of them to be able to get them buildings or space or facilities of some sort. So if administration has something and they can get
We have the list of all of the clubs and organizations, but I don't know which ones need space or whatever. We could check on that.
And there's no immediate rush. I just, because we've seen a need recently from a lot of different clubs and associations that are looking for something, and I'm just wondering if there's a way to gather that information and make it work for everybody. So if you do that and you could get me some information on that in the future, I would appreciate it.
I think Tracy would like to do that.
I'm not asking with the Alberta plus 55.
That sounds like
I know
fun,
that
Trace.
No, there's no penny here. Nothing else from anybody? Administration?
Worship, I move to adjourn. Oh, sorry.
Councillor Volkan?
Council invitations?
Okay, do we have any?
Yes, I'd just like to remind council administration, anybody about the Chamber of Commerce get together tomorrow night at 7 p.m. at the Civic Center.
Good. Tomorrow?
Tomorrow night.
At the Civic Center, 7 p.m.
7 o'clock.
7 o'clock. See you there. Okay. Deputy Mayor Walsh?
And your worship, we just got word from the WPCA that the TARP auction will be April 7th, 2015 at 5 o'clock, and it's going to be
Grey Eagles.
Grey Eagle Casino. Hope to see everybody there, and I'll remind you a few more times about that.
April 7th.
April 7th. Starts at 5 o'clock.
Nothing further? Motion?
So moved, Your Worship.
A motion to
Adjourn.
We have a motion to adjourn. All in favor? Carried. Thank you.